My name is Kate. We bought this little property in this summer. We moved in the middle of June. I have a 6,000 square foot garden and 3 Oberhausley goats, our lovely dairy goats, and we've got a flock of chickens and a couple of ducks, and my goals are to first take good care of this land, tend my soil, and then to feed my family, and then after I feed my family, hopefully to start feeding my community. I hope to have a small CSA, maybe 10 to 15 families that would buy into shares at the beginning of the season and then receive a box each week of the best of what we produce. So this is a leaf of my corn very chewed up from some insect damage. It's difficult to be an organic grower and not do anything, not intervene at this point. So this is a paper wasp and a ladybug. These are 2 beneficial insects that have come in to help me with my crop of corn. They are going to eat the caterpillars who would like to eat our dent corn before we get to. Gardening is very educational. It teaches me something every day. This has been a lot of lessons, and I am not in control. One of the first crops I planted were these beautiful Japanese bunching onions. They were purple, and I laid out starts of hundreds of them. Like a third of a row was these Japanese onions, and they started beautifully, and I put them in the soil, and I came out a day later and probably a third of them were just gone. They were just gone, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I came out another day, a day or so later, and almost all my onions were gone. Like, all the onions were just vanished. And I was telling my husband, I was like, what do you think happened to our onions? And I hear this giggling behind him. My daughter is back there with her mouth full of onion, and she says, I ate them. My children were so excited that we had a garden again, because as long as they can remember, I've always grown our food, and they were free to come out and forage as they wished. My son and daughter ate all my onions because it was the first thing up in the garden. This is my transplant table. I grow all of my own starts from seed, and I do that because it allows me to be more efficient. It also allows me to really control these plants when they're at this most fragile life stage. I can really monitor the moisture and fertility really closely. For the dairy goats, we will be milking them in the spring. Hopefully babies are due middle of March, and then I will be learning artisan cheese making and making our own fresh cheeses here at the farm. So this is my Florida Cracker chicken coop. It is a mobile tractor. It gets picked up and moved to fresh pasture every day or every other day. One of the things that I really like about this design is that the entire coop comes apart. The coop part lifts off of this platform right here, so I can really deep clean the entire thing. But it also makes it so that I can use this as a giant garden cart and drying rack to cure vegetables, like when we have a large harvest of sweet potatoes at the end of the summer. I want my kids to have these skills. I want them to know what it is to care for an animal and have that animal feed them. I think that that's really important, and I think that so many of the skills were lost in such a short amount of time. Like, as much as I can do to educate them so that they can educate others, so that people will still know how to be producers.